When Emily Mercer moved into her quiet Wisconsin home, she thought the strange wooden door in her basement was just an antique. But that door wasn't built by human hands, it was created to open something else. Each night, it whispered her name. Each day it grew darker and older, as if it remembered something that shouldn't exist. Then her husband's voice started calling from behind it, her dead husband. What Emily unleashed inside her home would spread far beyond it, consuming anyone who tried to destroy it. Even the priest who blessed it vanished. And now the cursed door has been seen again, this time in a different town, waiting for someone new to open it. Once you open the door, it never forgets your voice. I've always hated old houses. There's something about the way the air feels heavier, how the wood seems to sigh like it's remembering something terrible. When my wife, Claire, found this Victorian house in upstate New York, listed at half price, I should have known there was a reason no one else wanted it, but I was desperate for a fresh start. Desperate to save our failing marriage. Desperate to believe that sometimes things go on sale for good reasons. We moved in on a cold March morning. The place was massive, 3 stories, ivy crawling up its sides, windows like black eyes watching us unload boxes. The real estate agent had mentioned minor structural issues, but I didn't notice anything at first, until I saw the door, a narrow metal door, about the size of a closet, with a single brass handle that was cold even in the warmth of the furnace. The strange thing was, it had no hinges on our side. The frame was perfectly flush with the wall, like it wasn't meant to open from where we stood. And still, the handle waited. The first night we stayed there, I dreamed of that door. I dreamed it was rattling, shaking, and something on the other side whispered my name. I woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding, and when I went down to check, the handle was slightly turned, like someone had just tried it. Claire brushed it off. "You're just stressed," she said, unpacking dishes. "It's a new house, Jake. Old places creak, remember?" But when she said it, her hands were trembling slightly. I knew she'd heard it too. Over the next few days, small things started happening. Lights flickered even after I replaced the wiring. Doors upstairs opened on their own. The house smelled faintly of wet earth no matter how much air freshener I used. And then came the sound. Every night around 2:17 a.m., the same noise, 3 slow knocks, knock knock knock. It always came from the basement. At first I ignored it. Then I tried recording it on my phone, but the footage always glitched. The audio would cut to static, and when I played it back, a faint voice whispered just one word: open. One morning, I found muddy footprints leading from the basement door to the kitchen. Bare feet, small ones, like a child's. But Claire and I didn't have kids. The prints stopped at the sink, where the faucet was dripping brownish water. When I opened the cabinet beneath, the pipe was cracked, but what leaked out wasn't water. It was thick, black sludge, smelling like rust, and something far worse. Something sweet and rotten. That night I tried locking the basement door. I shoved a chair under the handle and even nailed a board across it. But at 2:17, the knocks came again 3 times, slow and deliberate. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day, Claire told me she'd seen a little girl in the backyard. She was standing by the tree line, she said, pale as chalk, long black hair, white dress. I thought she was lost, but when I called out she vanished. I went outside, but there were no footprints in the snow, just a faint smell of damp soil and something metallic in the air. I tried to rationalize it, maybe stress, maybe old plumbing. But the fear in my gut was primal, a buried instinct screaming that something in that house was wrong, deeply wrong. 3 nights later, I made the worst mistake of my life. I answered the knocks. It was 2:17 again. Claire was asleep upstairs. The air was thick and cold as I crept to the basement, flashlight trembling in my hand. When I reached the door, the knocking stopped. The silence was worse. I whispered, "Who's there?" A child's voice answered, soft and wet, like it came through water. "Please, it's cold in here." I froze. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but something, curiosity, stupidity, maybe the need to believe this was something explainable, made me reach out. I touched the handle. It was burning hot, and then it turned on its own. The door opened an inch with a metallic groan, and something warm breathed out from the darkness. My flashlight flickered. Inside, I saw what looked like a stone corridor stretching into blackness. The walls were wet. I heard a faint dripping sound, like water hitting metal. Then, from the darkness, 2 small hands reached out and grabbed the edge of the door. I slammed it shut with all my strength and stumbled backward. The sound stopped instantly. My flashlight went out. When I got it working again, the door was gone, completely gone, just a blank concrete wall. I didn't tell Claire, but over the next few days she began to change. She stopped sleeping, her eyes looked darker. I'd catch her standing in the kitchen at night, staring out the window at nothing. Once I found her in the basement, just standing where the door had been, her hand pressed against the wall. When I shouted her name, she turned slowly, eyes empty. "It's warmer down there," she said quietly. "They're waiting for us." I tried to get her help, therapy, medication, anything, but by then, the noises had returned, not just knocks, but voices, dozens of them, whispering through the walls, calling our names, telling us to open the way. Then, one night, Claire was gone. The police searched for weeks. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, just her shoes left neatly by the basement steps. When I went down there, the wall where the door had vanished was back, same metal frame, same brass handle, and this time, a single bloody handprint on it. I moved out 2 days later. The house was sold again 6 months after that. I tried to warn the new owners. They didn't listen. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from the real estate office. The woman's voice trembled when she said it. "Mr. Foster, you were the last registered owner of 118 Willow Creek Road, correct?" I confirmed. "There's been an incident. The new family disappeared. Police found their car in the driveway. The house was locked from the inside, but in the basement there was a door. Open this time last night. Someone knocked on my apartment door 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. When I looked through the peephole, no one was there, but the hallway smelled faintly of damp soil, and behind me, my bathroom door creaked open on its own. I'm writing this now because I think they found me. Whatever I open down there, it doesn't stay locked. It just moves from place to place, waiting for someone to listen. If you ever hear 3 knocks at 2:17 a.m., don't answer, no matter how much it sounds like a child, because once you open that door, it never really closes again." The following morning, police sirens wailed outside the Mercer home. The neighbors watched from behind curtains as officers taped the driveway. Emily's trembling hands clutched a cup of coffee she couldn't drink. The old door stood ajar again. It was as if someone or something had walked out during the night. Sheriff Dalton, a heavy-set man with years of experience, examined the ancient wood. "Looks like it's been opened from the inside," he said quietly, but the lock was unbroken. He ordered his deputy to check the backyard, though no footprints marked the frosted grass. The door looked older today, darker, almost rotting from within. By noon, the sheriff left, offering Emily his number. "Call me if anything else happens," he said, but his eyes betrayed doubt. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. The wind moaned through the vents, and faint tapping echoed from the basement. She told herself it was just the pipes. But then came the whisper, low male from beyond the basement door. Emily, her blood froze. The voice was unmistakably her late husband's. She ran upstairs, locking herself in the bedroom. She tried to convince herself it was grief, her mind playing tricks. But then 3 sharp knocks from below, measured, heavy, real. The next morning, she called Father Raymond, the local priest. He agreed to bless the house that afternoon. When he arrived, he carried a silver crucifix and a small vial of holy water. "I've seen strange things," he warned, "but this place, it feels wrong." As he prayed near the door, the wood began to shudder. Something pushed from the other side, distorting its shape. Father Raymond shouted the final verse of the blessing and silence fell. A deep, exhaling sound escaped the crack, like air being released from a sealed tomb. Emily thought it was over. But that night, the whispers came back, louder, closer. The next day, Emily packed her things, ready to leave. But when she tried to open the front door, it wouldn't budge. The locks twisted, the knobs jammed. Every exit sealed itself. Panic clawed at her chest. The house had trapped her. Her phone flickered, no signal. But one photo appeared on the screen. An image of her standing in front of the basement door, her face pale, eyes wide, the door half open behind her. The timestamp read 5 minutes ago. Her breath hitched. She hadn't taken that picture. She heard footsteps on the stairs. Slow, deliberate. Someone was coming up from the basement. Emily ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and whispered a prayer. The footsteps stopped at the landing. Silence. Then, from behind her, a faint reflection appeared in the window, her husband's face, but wrong, stretched, smiling too wide. "Why did you open it, Emily?" it whispered. She screamed and swung the knife. The glass shattered. When she turned back, the door was open again. Father Raymond returned after she didn't answer his calls. The moment he stepped into the house, he felt it cold, dense, like standing in a tomb. "Emily," he called. No response. He followed a faint humming sound to the basement. The door stood open, a dark void beyond. On the steps lay Emily's necklace. He took one cautious step down, then another. Halfway down, the light bulb above him flickered and went out. Something moved below. Heavy breathing. Then a hand pale, and Ron gripped his ankle. Father Raymond screamed and scrambled back, barely escaping as the door slammed shut behind him. He ran outside and called the police. But when they searched the house, Emily was gone. Only one thing remained: the door, standing upright in the living room, unattached to any wall, its handle slowly turning on its own. Weeks passed. The Mercer property was sealed off. Reporters called it the Doorhouse. Urban explorers snuck in at night, chasing views for social media. None stayed long. One streamer went live from the basement, boasting, "Let's open the cursed door, baby." He pulled the handle. The camera glitched, a live feed cut off. His followers thought it was staged until police found the camera days later, still streaming static. The boy was never found. Father Raymond, now haunted and sleepless, reviewed Old Town records. He discovered that before the Mercers, another family lived there in 1952. They had vanished without a trace. The police at the time mentioned a strange, handmade door found in the basement. The file ended abruptly. He drove to the old county archives. Deep in a forgotten folder, he found a name: Elias Crow, carpenter and self-proclaimed spiritualist. Crow believed doors could be portals of rebirth. He built one using bones, which soaked in blood, and something he called the breath of the lost. The final note in Crow's journal chilled Father Raymond. Once opened, it remembers the voice that freed it. That night, Father Raymond returned to the Mercer house with a plan to destroy the door. He brought gasoline, salt, and a crucifix. He broke in just past midnight, determined to end it. He stood before the door, trembling. "In the name of the Father," he began. But then he heard Emily's voice. "Help me, Father." Her tone was desperate, echoing from the other side. He hesitated. "Emily," he whispered. The handle turned. Slowly, the door creaked open a few inches. A pale hand reached through. "Please," she cried. He leaned forward just enough to see her face. It wasn't Emily. The thing that wore her face grinned, its eyes black as oil. "Wrong door, Father," it lunged. The next morning, police found the house empty again. Only ashes remained in the basement where the door once stood. But neighbors swore they saw someone standing in the window that night, a man in priest robes, staring at the road. Months later, the door appeared again, this time in a second-hand shop in Wisconsin, listed as an antique church door. The store owner claimed it hummed faintly at night, like it was breathing. A customer bought it the next day, saying he planned to install it in his cabin. When asked for his name, he smiled and said, "Elias Crow." And just like that, the curse began again.